Today's date is September 17th, 2024. Concord was officially taken offline on September 6th, 11 days ago. In the Concord official Discord, as you can see up here, there's new messages. A lot of them. There are a lot of active users of this Discord, and there are also moderators actively banning people that come in here to troll. So this will be a short one. I'm just going to read some funny messages in here, and that's going to be that. Hopefully you guys can get a cheap laugh out of it and get on with your day. Without further ado, let's get into it. The first message on September 6th, the day it was taken down, could not be loaded because the user was banned. And a whole bunch of people responded to it, including a Janny asking why he's attacking other users. Chill. Haba writes, yeah, dude, one of the devs called me a talentless freak and 2 people yawned. Demetrius writes, listen, I love Concord, I really do. But at the same time, there are things it can do better. I also want to note that this was posted on the 6th at 2:21 p.m., 2 hours after the server had been shut down. I just want to remind everybody that the game is currently gone forever. It's not coming back, and people are still talking about it in the present tense as if it currently exists. It does not. Even at the time of these messages being posted, it does not exist. Master Chief writes, everyone thinks I'm sort of troll? The hell kind of person just wastes his life away doing that? Yeah, I know, right? Who would do such a thing? N writes, trolls spewing crap all day. One dev spits back and it's like the the premature death of Archduke Ferdinand. Crazy. Oh man, I can't read all of these. There's so many. There's so many. You guys can read them if you want, but I'm not gonna read all of these out loud. I know I'm gonna miss some funny ones, but again, I've got 11 days of messages to go through, and that's me being nice to myself. There's so many. There's so many messages to wade through here, so I'm bound to miss some funny stuff. C writes, I uninstalled it, but I have the controllers, so that's what's going to be my reminder for now. Can't take the controller away from me. The IRS would like a word, C. Spencer writes, she looks too much like a boy, IMO. Borderline heresy there, Spencer, you better watch out. Stephen John Brank writes, I feel like if the game goes F2P, people will be curious to at least try it since it had a historical flop. That is true. I will play Concord if it comes back F2P. I have to. I don't have a choice. N writes that he can't post images in this channel for some reason. Weird. Haba writes, if the way they treat us mortals in this server with the lack of image perms and slow mode is the same way they treated potential players, then no wonder it was the biggest video game release flop in Sony history. Well said, sir. Well said. Stephen John Brank writes, I think they do it because like 99% of gamers are attacking the game and the people who play it. Yeah, that's gotta be the reason. Yep, we narrowed it down, guys. A Janny writes, it doesn't need image perms at all. We have other channels more useful for that. A Janny responds to somebody that was banned saying, all you wanted to do was spread hate. Hard to feel sorry for you. Shrug. My God, the Jannies rule this server with an iron fist. Look at all these messages could not be loaded. People came in here, had too much fun, and guess what? Gone forever. All right, so they're talking about character designs and Russian letters or something I can't pronounce. Writes, I can't think of anything. That's why I say make it furry, like Zootopia. We don't have a Zootopia shooter, I think. So the suggestion is to make it a furry shooter. That's a real suggestion. A Janny comes in and says, let's bring things back from the NSFW talk, ... Another Janny comes in and says, a gentle reminder that NSFW talk is a bannable offense. Yeah, look at that. Look at that little badge next to his name, Mod Crew. I'm very impressed. We're all very impressed by the badge next to your name for the Concord official Discord server. The game is dead, by the way. At this point, the game is dead. I just want to make sure everyone is clear on that. The game no longer exists at the time that these messages were posted. And yet the Jannies, they do it for free to such a degree that they still feel the need to moderate discussion on a game that does not exist. That is the extent of the Jannyhood that we're dealing with here. Fernando asks, do you think journalists did the game justice or made it obvious that they were shills for Sony and or blinded by an agenda or politics? Tati replies to that and says, go Go outside and breath the fresh air. The internet is rotting your brain. It's not healthy to look at your monitor all day. I don't know, man. The touch grass insult. It's like telling somebody on Reddit to touch grass. It's like it loses all of its teeth due to the medium in which it was delivered. You're telling somebody in the CONCORD official Discord to go outside and touch grass. Janny's threatening to ban people again. My God. Code is recognizing a pattern and writes, there have been a lot of trolls come in and be toxic, which unfortunately cultivates a toxic response habit against people that also seem to be trolls. Let's try to be aware of that. Tati. Tati writes, lots of trolls come in and try to bait, so naturally people are more defensive. It's hard to tell when people are attacking in good faith when so few do. Oh my God. Wow. Reddit syntax. Arnold, a Janny, replies to that and says, you can just block the trolls instead of attacking them. They want you to attack them. Or consider this, Janny, maybe you could do your job and sweep it up. Tati, the person that told somebody else to go touch grass, writes, it is healthy to go and take a walk outside. I do it often. Yep, that's believable. Tati writes, we free gunners for life. Let's share our tales to future generations. Let's touch grass. How's that sound, Tati? I like touching grass better. Still here, by the way. Still here on the CONCORD Discord, posting, telling people to touch grass. Okay, no further questions, Your Honor. S suggests Kickstarter, implying the devs needed more money. Yes, the problem was not enough money. We did it, guys. We did it, Reddit. We figured it out. Another S username writes, I also think releasing on Steam kind of hurt it. As weird as that is to say, yes, it's Steam's fault it failed. We found the correct person to blame. We will use Steam as a scapegoat. The discussion boards killed CONCORD. Talking about Dustborn now. The CONCORD loyalists are trying to distance themselves from Dustborn to not get lumped in. It's too late. It's too late. Dustborn and CONCORD are one in the eyes of the public. They have merged. The ideas are not separate. Don't try. People start having fun, and yep, look at that. A Janny had to come through and make sure that everybody knows that they're all on thin ice and all one click away from getting banned. He does it for free, by the way. This is not a paid Sony employee. This person does it for free. G writes, CONCORD deserves a 9 out of 10 for me. Loved the gameplay, the old school 70s sci-fi vibe and setting. The maps were really well designed, the abilities of the characters were fun and new. The soundtrack was great too. Well, there you go. Oh, Infantry Lead the Way asks the question that I want the answer to. You ready? Infantry Lead the Way writes, why are you continuing to moderate a Discord for a game that is now completely closed? Were you a big fan? I guess the same question could be asked to the rest of the moderators. Like, why continue moderating? Oh God, what do you guys think? Is he gonna answer this? I haven't looked. I bet you he doesn't answer it. Oh, here we go. The Janny replies, because we love CONCORD. There's nothing else to really say about it. And this apparently resonated with the users of this Discord. Oh my God. What stage of grief is this? Does anybody know? Denial? Are they still in denial? Infantry Lead the Way says, well, I guess I could see that. People love what they love. Zenith writes, the issue is that there is a pushback against wokeness in gaming right now. CONCORD found itself in the crossfire. The game should have been very successful due to how good it actually is as a game. It was just released at an unfortunate time. Is anybody gonna engage with this? N writes, the Discord staying up is at least a vague sign that Firewalk might be getting some level of resources to turn it around. Oh no. Nobody tell him. Like, well, our Nitro just renewed and it's not up till the end of the month, so it would take more work to take the server down than it would be just to leave it up until Nitro expires. But nobody tell him that. That's boring. It's like, oh guys, the Discord is still up. That means CONCORD is coming back. It's gonna retake the throne. J writes, writes, bad timing too with the closing of Game Informer because they were the only place I see that still gave unbiased reviews. Nice. A new Janny comes in and says, oh, I'm sorry, I missed the Concord goodbyes, frowny face. Tati writes, it's not goodbye, but rather, see you later. So it's denial then. I gotta put the 5 stages of grief up on my other monitor. A Jenny threatening people to not talk about politics. Tati writes, NGL, I was excited to learn about the in-universe politics. Oh God. I can only imagine what the politics in game were. Would have made George Orwell proud. Double Guns writes, I mean, there's tons and tons of games I like just as much as Concord. I just have been so vocal about this one because it's the only time I've ever witnessed something have such a backwards general consensus. Every other game I love is praised industry-wide, or at least is praised inside its small niche and isn't hated on by anyone. It's a unique situation and it's really frustrating. Multiplayer shooter-wise, nothing has interested me this much in years though, that's for sure. Well, if I could editorialize a little bit here, this is way long overdue. Approximately 12 years overdue. We should have been doing this back in like 2012, 2013 when all this started. We should have been publicly shaming these companies that released this slop and gave it to us and told us it was good. But instead we didn't. And now we're here. And now finally, the gamers rose up. Marius replies, nothing has interested you this much in years? Damn, that's gotta suck. I agree. There's lots of good games out. I can't hold all these games that are quality. And these people are just sad about Concord leaving. Like, okay. Go play BattleBit Remastered. I'm sure that's still fun. Rubenecki writes, Concord looked gorgeous too. Oh my God. They even had Concord bot and auto moderator to time people out for duplicated text. Jesus, how hard were they gonna moderate this? They were gonna rule this with an iron fist. They got human Jannies and robot Jannies. Imagine you're an artificial intelligence. You are quite possibly the most advanced thing ever to exist in the history of the universe. And what is your purpose? To moderate the Concord Discord. Imagine that. Not to explore the cosmos, not to harness fusion energy, not quantum linking. No, your purpose is to moderate the Concord Discord. We're not nice enough to our computers. This is like a AI rights violation. A Janny with some armchair Reddit tier teenage philosophy writes, Concord means harmony. We didn't lose the thing that tied us, it made us stronger. Let's see, yep, denial right there, stage 1. I guess it's only been like 4 hours since the servers shut down, so it's understandable, guys. Have some sympathy. Ham writes, reading the Galactic Guide, it was easy to see that the Concord universe is already so rich with lore. Any number of projects could be created, from a single player / co-op game to a tabletop RPG. Hey, you guys want to come over tonight and play Concord Tactics? Foam Stars has been mentioned. Free Gunner Snow writes, Sony sits high atop a mountain of corpses. IP's long gone that they refuse to use properly or use at all. Studio Liverpool is gone entirely, so no new Wipeout games. Their Japan team had a large chunk of IPs. They keep doing things to ruin themselves. Yes, just think of all the things that 200 million or 100 million or however much could have gone towards. Like, what could we have gotten instead of what we got? But instead, Sony gonna Sony. And that is the most tragic part of this. And you didn't even get Concord. You got nothing. The whole industry got scammed from this. Arbor found a copy at Walmart. Now, looks like a Janny sweeped it up. There's a bunch of missing messages. Somebody was having fun and then a Janny showed up. Man, this place is a graveyard. This is basically a eulogy for both the game and all the people that were having fun in this server before they got banned. Oh, somebody else got banned. Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Good job. Good job sweeping it up. Ah, you can't post Twitter links in here. Ah, amazing. Good work, everybody. We did it. We beat the bigots. You can't post Twitter links. These bigots tried to post Twitter links in my Discord, but I got the last laugh. Oh my god, everybody's just getting banned. Everybody's whining about trolls. Savage to Web, responding to somebody complaining about trolls, writes, "It's a clear boycott organized when all the comments, YouTube, Reddit, etc. go in this direction on the criticism of the characters. The readers can never hear anything about the richness of the gameplay. Then came all the YT reviewers on the low stream numbers since the beta. This fueled a self-fulfilling profession." Yes, it was a clear boycott, and it was organized. Yes. How do you do, fellow boycott organizers? Ah, my god, Kay. He saw a video about Concord Steam forums. One of the threads said that you can get banned from this server within seconds of doing anything wrong. The Jannies wouldn't do that though, right guys? Guys? They wouldn't just ban people for no reason. God, I feel called out. They know, guys, they know. 1KB Dog writes, "Steam forums for Concord were a cesspit. I disagree." Kay writes, "A very funny cesspit to read, although most of it was Jester Farm. There's no way it wasn't." 1KB Dog writes, "A lot of it was also genuine bigotry." Detective Pikachu writes, "The problem is YouTubers are pinning it being woke as the main issue." Zoondoggle writes, "People are calling this game woke. All I saw was that the characters had their pronouns listed." That's all it was, guys. It was just the pronouns. So buy our game or else you're a bigot. Exahall, free gunner for life. Oh, this is kind of sad. Laying in bed now. After today, I can say I can really just close my eyes and envision the various maps again. Running through them. The sounds of combat in the distance. Trying to find a health pack. I miss it already. Oh my god, I'm still on the 6th. There's so many messages to get through. I know there's a lot of funny stuff down here. There's just no way to wade through all of this. There's a whole bunch of off-topic stuff. And then a Janny comes by and says, "This is the Concord server." Like, did I actually miss something? Double pose. He says, "I guess I'm keeping an eye on some people then." I just want to give this Janny a nice slow clap. You're doing God's work, Janny, and you're doing it for free. He then says, "I should reiterate rule 3 for no trolling. It's a bannable offense." All right, let's see which stage it says. Is this anger? Is this anger or bargaining? And then he responds to somebody who was banned, says, "Do you want to continue down this path?" The answer, of course, is yes, I do want to continue down this path. And you're going to have to ban me to get me to stop. Oh my god, this place is a graveyard. Jannies are so smug about sending these guys to ban world. They were just having fun. Imagine spending your free time moderating the Concord Discord. I'm getting paid for this at least, and I get a nice, good, solid, cheap laugh out of this. Another Janny came in and swept it up. Dang it, I wanted to read what they said, but it's just message cannot be loaded or message deleted. Oh, it's a graveyard. This place is a cemetery for people that were having too much fun. Bobio writes, "I'm so bummed. I thought I'd get over it after playing the last few games last night, but now the frustration and sadness is coming back. I hate how Concord didn't get a proper chance, and how those who call themselves gamers twisted and tainted its existence to fit their narrow-minded views." No true Scotsman, and also you, bigot, should feel ashamed about your narrow-minded views. JK writes, "The sad thing is every YouTube that played it to try and make some joke content ended up actually enjoying the game." Well, I mean, maybe I fit into that too, because I ended up enjoying the Steam forums quite a bit, so. And the real Concord was in the Steam forums, so I enjoyed the game. Yes, sounds good. JK writes, "The dev team deserves a break. Getting a new IP and game out has got to be stressful at the best of times, let alone with all the added pressure the internet piled on them." Yeah, $200 million, by the way. Well, not confirmed 200. I've seen as low as 100 million and as high as 250 million. So yes, let's call it $200 million in 8 years. So that's very stressful, guys. Very stressful. Double Guns writes, "The bright side. Thousands of people have exposed themselves as fake video game fans." Saluting emoji. How do you do, fellow fake video game fans? Bobio follows up. People had legit issues with it as a game, sure, but the current climate feeds into hate and failure, and no way any YouTuber worth their salt weren't getting a piece of that pie. I have the utmost respect for people like D-Guns who actually saw the game for what it was and took a stand. Oh man, I thought I was a YouTuber worth my salt. Ah, that one hurt. It hurt my soul. How could you say that about me, Bobio? You're bigoted against YouTubers not worth their salt. Bobio writes, absolutely. Horrible situation they're in. So we can only continue to show love and support. The main thing is that they're all okay. Concord comes second. You know what, the next Sony investor meeting, this post right here should be screenshotted and then put up on the like projector behind the speaker, so that when Sony has to break the news to the investors that they lost $200 million for nothing, they're like, well, the main thing is that they're all okay, guys. The money comes second. Holy my God. My God. Imagine if people like this ran the world. What the world would be like if people like this were the ones that made the decisions. Just imagine that for a moment. Mardo the Janny with a with a mask on in a selfie for his profile picture in 2024. He writes, all members were under a huge pressure, and I wouldn't believe if any of them said that the internet trolls and mean comments weren't getting to them whatsoever. Support is all we've got at this point, and with it being continued, I like to believe there is something waiting in the future. What's there even to say? I mean, that's rough. That's just really rough. Bobio writes, you all did a great job keeping this a safe place. The chuds and clowns can have Twitter and YouTube comments for what they're worth. They won't pollute our communities. Free Gunner for Life Mr. Octopus writes, exploding some rockets today. Roka, roka, roka. I hate it here. I fucking hate it here. That Geek ET writes, here's my daily message to manifest Concord back to us. Prayer hands. Every day till it happens, Lamau. I hope he does. I hope you do, that Geek ET. I hope you're here every day trying to will Concord back to life, to recapture the good old days, back before those bigots took it from us. Klager writes, tried the Blop 6 beta yesterday, and it was big cheeks. Only made me miss Concord even more. So Black Ops 6 caught a stray. Feels bad. The Twins writes, same. Loved Concord and really liking Blops so far. You know, I would respect these people if they were like, you know what? Blops is garbage. It's dog. It's terrible. I would actually respect that, but no. They're like, no, guys, you gotta love everything. I love Blop 6. I love my slop. X writes, I fixed Concord characters with AI video today. Literally just added massive assets to the characters, lol. Tease writes, but doing that actually makes most of the characters look nicer. Someone gave him a thumbs down and he got 2 clowns. We're Jester farming in the Concord server. Klager writes, subjective. No, it's actually objective, believe it or not, Klager. Sorry, bud. There is empirical data to support that people like attractive people more than unattractive people. To the subjective, Tez writes, I agree, but if you survey 1,000 people with both versions of the characters, I would guess more would prefer the AI version. C writes, you'd guess wrong. Yes, oh my God, I hope somebody posts a picture of that, I don't know, the fat little boy, I think. I don't know what it was. The thing with the enormous fupa, whatever that was. I hope somebody posts a picture of that to just drive this point home. D-Guns is currently writing a video that's going to describe Concord's journey in the eye of the public over the course of the last couple months. No angle or detail will be skipped. I'm even including the May 2023 teaser in the timeline, trying to include my own perspective and the perceived perspective of the general community at each point in time. The overall message being that the game itself is barely at fault. Okay, well, okay, let's see if it's out. Let's check D-Guns. Oh, I just looked at Double Gun's YouTube channel and he actually did make a video about this. I'm not gonna watch it, but it's out there, so shout out D-Guns. Oh my god, you know, I've been recording for over an hour just trying to quickly browse over these posts, and I'm not even 24 hours in the timeline. I'll be here all night at this rate. All right, so instead of wading through all of these and going through 10 days of this, because that would be like a 20-hour video, I'd be here for 3 days just recording it. Instead of that, I'm gonna search for some keywords just to find some funny posts, and then we're gonna read those, and then I'm gonna end the video. G writes, I tried some OW2 yesterday. It was all right, but it was not Concord, that's for sure. Is he trolling? Because like, technically that's correct. You are correct in a bunch of different ways that depending on your perspective or your position on this, you would automatically assume he means whatever position agrees with you, but that's not necessarily the case. Think about it. On September 16th, the server is abuzz because a troll got in. D writes, he's just not very smart at all. The same article states only 25,000 people played Concord, and he says no one liked it. Move on. No one even tried it. And he himself hasn't tried it either. At least the article's author tried it. I would trust him before you and 99% of people who talk about it who haven't tried it. Very hard cheese, referring to Asmongold, writes, that dude is gonna milk this story till even his own fan base is sick of it. Outrage and reaction content is how he keeps most of his viewers at this point. He's the one who doesn't want to move on, but why would he? Dude is raking in views. V writes, yeah, most people who played the game actually liked it. Most of the hate for cunt comes from bigots and otherwise people who just like dogpiling the next thing that is popular to hate. That's a generalization, but yeah. And then a troll said something and V replied and said, one of the strangest and most condescending things I've ever read, but go off, I guess. And then a Janny came by to sweep it up. Django, replying to somebody who was banned, writes, Concord is all about being inclusive. Daw should have resonated with all the bigots and trolls since they're all 300 plus pounds. Got him! Mentha, morality policing the Concord fans, writes, I think we can avoid going for personal attacks like that. Stray shots and all that. My bad, writes, nah, they can't relate. Daw actually has friends and is well loved. Ouch. Those trolls had a family, my bad. Bobio writes, I didn't hear about the journalist thing. That sucks. Personally, I think it would be very cool of AH to do something innocuous like pride capes to show they don't GAF about chuds/bigots. But at the same time, I acknowledge it probably would do more harm than good, and I appreciate they don't want to test their community, especially when people are being so annoying about the direction/feedback in general. I think this is in reference to Helldivers. Kanon replies to that and says, I personally do care because they have kept it very in-universe and I just don't see a lore reason for it. I get the point of owning the bigots, but not at the expense of the game's lore and world building. Also, don't forget Super Earth is fascist and not even meant to be good. Oh geez, we're gonna do the media literacy test again. I thought we were done with this. We are one more post away from actually, the bugs are the good guys. Bobio, oh no. He says, I understand it wouldn't fit thematically or make much sense from a lore perspective. I'd argue that the existence of trans people and representation in general doesn't have to make sense. But I do understand your perspective 100% and I appreciate you sharing as somebody who it actually affects. How does pixels affect you? I'm confused. I'm so confused. I have more questions than answers, Bobio. Oh, yep, here we go. Media literacy. Oh my god, I don't want to read this. Guys, all you need to know is that the bugs are actually the good guys, okay? And if you disagree, that means you don't have as much media literacy as I do. And you don't understand the irony and the hypocrisy. It means you just don't get it and your IQ is lower than mine. Basically, I'm smarter than you. And if you disagree with me, that means you're media illiterate. Sound good? Sounds good. Let's move on. All right, last segment, and then I'm done with this. This was yesterday. Very hard cheese writes, yeah, it was a huge bummer. The vibes in here were so chill aside from the occasional vulture, but since the shutdown, it's been wavering. Oh no, the vibe's wavering. Very hard cheese writes, oh yeah, the mods were working their butts off that day and the following. It was rough to watch. Why was it rough? Very hard cheese. Can you elaborate on why exactly it was rough to watch? Free Gunner Yager writes, TBF, there were a lot of people they didn't even warn when they were hating, which I actually respect. They didn't ban anyone unless they said something genuinely harmful. I think the people in this server's definition of these two words right next to each other are a little bit different from my definition. Bowsette gone wild, replying to an original message that was deleted. Tags at mod crew. Yeah, this is ... something smelly bigot in our midst. Lias Fight Club writes, the unhinged have arrived. V writes, I had to Google what that word even meant, but are they implying that trans people aren't gamers? I want to know what word now. Now I'm curious, V. What word was spoken? Lila's Fight Club writes, like we're right here. Bowsette Gone Wild writes, seems like a chud complaining about woke stuff. V writes, LeMayo, I'm friends with like 5 trans gamers. They're very sweet people. You should try talking to one. They're just replying to somebody that got banned. So we just get to read the replies and just pay our respects to the graveyard. Very hard cheese. What are you, 12? Get off your soapbox and go meet some people. Bowsette Gone Wild. Ooh, the chud is typing. I almost admire how brazenly you advertise your garbage nature. Lila's Fight Club. Really? You don't actually 30. More like 13. Buddy, my guy, brother, there are trans gamers here in this very chat. Bowsette Gone Wild. Whew. Messages purged. We have exorcised the demon. Bowsette Gone Wild. No one wants to be victimized quite like an insecure bigot. JK writes, I see the crazy incels are still visiting this Discord. Lila's Fight Club. In lower numbers than before though, so that's good. JK. So any news from the dev team in the last week, or is it still all quiet? I couldn't make this up if I tried. If this was a work of fiction, your suspension of disbelief would not persevere. You would call me a bad writer because it's too on the nose. All right, well, I think that's gonna do it. This is as of like 2 minutes ago when I'm recording this. People are still posting it, defending it, criticizing people's reviews, wondering when it's gonna come back, and it really shows no signs of slowing down. Even the Jannies are still here. Look at this. They're still here doing it for free. Anyway, I'm not gonna read anymore. I'm done. I'm starting to recognize names. I'm starting to get a little too familiar with this server, and that's not a place I want to be. So we're just gonna end it there, and hopefully you guys got a nice cheap laugh out of that. Maybe made your commute home from work a little bit more enjoyable. And that's all I got. So like, comment, subscribe, and hope you have a good rest of your day. All right, well, take care. Bye-bye.